Hey everyone, Cahlen here, and I have been living outside for almost a year and a half, basically out of my backpack. And one of the key elements to being able to do that is having a good set of clothes, which works pretty much in any type of weather situation, from really hot, like working construction jobs in 90-degree weather, to really cold, to like well below freezing all day long and especially at night. So basically almost all of my gear in terms of weight and bulk is my clothes. So your clothes are really the most important thing. So I've got them all laid out here. This is everything that I have, and we'll just go through and talk about the different aspects of it. Okay, so I've got my upper clothes over here, lower clothes over there, and then my summer sleeping bag and my poncho, which is my shelter, which will serve as my outer coat and my outer raincoat. And then there's my hats and socks and gloves. So that pretty much covers everything. So I basically follow something called the extreme cold weather clothing system developed by the US military, which is layering of different types of clothes. So these are very specific, and I wouldn't recommend deviating too much from what I'm talking about here. So the first layer is always going to be a wool layer. I recommend wool. You can also get synthetics, but synthetics are going to get stinky pretty quickly. So here is my wool shirt. I like the -33 company. Another nice thing about wool is that you can wear this pretty much year-round. I wore this shirt for a year without washing it. Now, when I did wash it, it was of course very dirty, but it didn't actually need to be washed. It wasn't stinky or anything like that. It just, was kind of heavy with dirt and like body oils and things like that. So also you want to be careful about how you wash these. I just wash it in water, which is basically water hot enough that if I stick my hand in it, I can keep my hand there, but almost to the point where I would want to take it out. And that's where I'll just dip my clothes into that once a year or so. My underwear, of course, more often than that. And then until all the stuff melts off and just goes into water, and then I'll leave it to dry in the sun. Like, if you take care of these things, they will last you a very long time. They are expensive, so I'd say get the thickest one that you can get and just take really good care of it, and don't wear it outside on its own because it get caught and snagged on type of stuff. So this is always something you would want to wear underneath something else. So here's the wool layer for the shirt. This is a buff, kind of like a scarf. They also can kind of serve as a hat and protect your neck from the sun and from bugs. That's also wool. My underwear is wool. This is really important because your underwear is the thing that gets stinky the most. But with wool underwear, you can last a very long time because it's antimicrobial. And again, just dip it in hot water and then leave it out to dry. I actually use 2 pairs of these now just so that I can be wearing another while I'm washing and drying the other one. Then I have the wool layer of my pants, which again is going to be the thickest that I can find. So then for the socks, these are also wool. These are darn tough socks, but they are a kind of a mix of wool and synthetics. The synthetics just make them more durable, which you're going to want for your socks. And these you can actually return if they get a hole in them, and they'll replace them. It has a lifetime guarantee. So that's the first layer of socks, and then the first layer of gloves is a liner of wool. This is, again, I think is -33, so definitely want to have that for when it gets really cold. And then for my hat, again, everything that's touching me is wool. Okay, so I'm gonna put everything on as I go, just so it gets out of the way. Okay, so the next layer, also known as layer 2 in the military's cold weather clothing system, is the waffle layer. This is a synthetic layer, generally polyester, and it is lined with this type of fabric, which makes it more light and breathable, but also still takes up a good amount of lofty space so that it keeps warmth in. And one of the most important things about this is that it's designed to wick moisture away from the body. This whole system is about keeping you warm, of course, but also wicking water away, because water is the thing that is going to hurt you the most when it's cold outside. So basically, this is the outside shirt. This is the outside shirt I would wear out in public. This is what I would wear when I'm working outside. I would just wear this. This actually isn't that hot even on a really hot day because of how much air flows through it. And of course, there's the pants version as well. And then I don't have waffle top for the hat. They do make them, but I just use this normal polyester hat. And then for the socks, I have these. These are basically waterproof socks. So I don't use them very much because the more you use them, the more holes they get in them, they become less waterproof. Mostly I just use them for when it gets cold outside, and pretty much I only need them when I'm sleeping so far. So then the outer gloves, these are synthetic, of course, and waterproof, and they keep you very warm because of the fact that they're waterproof. So you can wear, I can wear them over the top of these. Okay, now I'm wearing the first 2 layers, and I'm already very, very warm, right? Of course, I really wouldn't be wearing something like this with like the wool in on a sunny day like this in the middle of early fall. But, you know, of course, when it starts to get colder, then this type of stuff becomes really necessary. And this is pretty much all I really need to be wearing when I'm sleeping at night right now. And it's getting down into about the probably high 40s, maybe 48, 49 degrees. So let's take a look at the even warmer stuff. Okay, so this is layer 3, and this is basically going to be your more puffy jacket, but not too, you know, not too intense. So this is just I like to go with fleece. I like fleece. This is synthetic fleece, and it's also really nice to have lots of different pockets, and you really want them to have zippers so that things aren't falling out when you're crawling around. When you're living outside, you find yourself doing a lot of that type of stuff. Then these pants, I kind of have been going back and forth between 2 different pairs of pants, you know, one with insulation and one without. But I think that if I was going to pick one right now, it would be these. These are insulated on the inside, so it really does make a very big difference in the winter. And it also has lots of pockets with zippers. So these are nice pants, but they do get a little bit hot when I'm working outside in 90-degree weather doing construction jobs. So just keep that in mind. And then these are the outer layer of the footwear. These are actually filled with down, and if your feet get cold at night, even if you're in a sleeping bag, it can be hard to warm them back up. So you want to make sure that your feet never get cold. Ooh, we're really getting hot now. All right, so I've got those clothes on, and next we're going to talk about the waterproofing layer. Okay, so layers 4, 5, and 6 of the military system are generally just waterproofing using different strategies, and I just go with as light of a possible as raincoat and rain pants as I can, and these are super lightweight. It's basically professional ultralight backpacking gear here, and this thing will fold up and smush down into a little ball which fits into my pocket, so I can actually carry my raincoat and my rain pants in my pocket. And another nice thing about these is that they do help you stay warm, so it kind of blocks air in, and if once you've heated up that air, it's not going to be escaping as easily. So something to keep in mind with these is that they are very thin, so you got to be really careful about walking around branches. They will tear very easily. And also, remember we were talking about wicking water away from the body. Well, it's going to reach this layer and not be able to wick anymore. So you're going to get condensation kind of piling up on the inside there, which can be a problem if you're getting really sweaty over a long period of time. Though, again, you do have many layers down below to protect you from that moisture, so it'd be pretty far removed from you, but it is still something you got to keep in mind. Okay, and then the final layer of the clothing system is layer 7, which is basically your big puffy clothes. So your winter insulated jacket and pants. And so this is actually designed to be a replacement for the military's level 7. So they actually hand out level 7 to all their people. But this one is designed to be better than it. So it actually has the type of insulation which is more lightweight and thinner, yet still has more thermal holding qualities. So this is a really nice jacket. I'm very happy with it. It did really well last winter. And then I'm trying out these new ones this year. The nice thing about these is, I mean, they're basically the snowboarder pants. They are insulated, not as thick as the ones I had last year, but I think I'll be good. And another nice thing about them is they do have suspenders, because when you're wearing something like this, you're wearing it over many layers of clothes, and so, you know, its waist varies, right? So sometimes when you're wearing it, the waist is going to be too big because maybe you don't have enough clothes on, that type of thing. So basically you don't want to rely on the waist holding it up with the tension there or the belt. I think that suspenders are a better way to go. So that's what I'm trying this year. Okay, I'm massively sweating underneath all these clothes now. We only got one layer to go, which is good, means I'm almost done here. Okay, so let's talk about the last layer. I've never actually needed this. It's never gotten so cold that I needed to do it this way. So I've always just kept this in sleeping bag mode. So this is, again, the Swagman's roll, which is like a poncho liner with a poncho over it. So it serves as my sleeping bag. I've been using that most of this year. Sleeping bag and a bivy sack basically together, but we can take them apart and realign them to be a coat and a poncho. You see it has the hood here. Okay, so I'm wearing the Swagman's roll now, which is the winter coat, and also my sleeping bag, so I can carry this around with me without even needing to put it in my backpack. And in my backpack, except, you know, it needs to of course be cold enough outside that I'm not going to be sweating my balls off when I'm moving around. So here's what it looks like, and then I'm going to put the poncho on over the top. Where's the hole? There it is. Okay, so I can just wear the poncho like this. I can also snap it up to make the sleeves more tight, but I rarely do that. In fact, I rarely even need to use this poncho as rain protection. So the reason that I have 2 layers of rain protection is because, again, this is my house basically. It's what keeps the rain off of me when I'm sleeping. And so if I want to get up and out of my shelter and it's raining, I still need to have other rain protection. So that's why I have the other stuff, which I'm actually wearing underneath this. And it does actually, I think, add to the thermal insulation of this situation. So anyway, speaking of thermal situation, I am so hot right now, so that's my clothes. I recommend getting similar stuff if you're planning to live outside, and even if you're not planning on living outside, you may want to have something like this which you can fit in a backpack, because you may be forced to live outside for maybe a short period of time or even a long period of time, depending on what happens in the world, especially, you know, around your specific locality. So anyways, I hope that's useful. You can find all of this stuff on cahlen.org/gear. I just list all of the stuff that I use. I don't make any affiliate from this stuff, so it's just what I use so that it's helpful to you. You know what I'm using because it's good stuff. So if you want to help me out, you can just go to cahlen.org/gift, and there's a couple of ways that you can help me out. So I hope this is useful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please consider sharing it. If you'd like to help me out in a more substantial way, you can learn how to do so at cahlen.org/gift. And if you'd like to have a one-on-one conversation with me, whether publicly or privately, you can learn how to do so at cahlen.org/one-on-one. Thanks again for watching.